A nice cool morning here in late September. Here in Kansas, I'm hunting with Sam Moore, Kansas's finest. This is our first morning out. We're gonna hunt a place that my daughter Jennifer hunted last year. They've seen several bucks. There's a lot of oak trees in there. The deer are really on the acorns, so we're gonna be in there this morning. Try to catch us one. Last year, I came up and hunted with Sam and Tammy Moore and had a fantastic hunt. What a great time we had. They put on a good hunt. I took a 170 class buck last year. I'm anxious to get back up with my Traditions muzzleloader, see what I can do during muzzleloader season this year.
Southeast Kansas, Chautauqua, and Elk counties are monster buck country, and Kansas' finest outfitting hunts 18,000 acres in the heart of it. But Morris won't find it easy in the pre-rut.
Muzzleloader hunting, it's very important that you know the exact ranges, because as you get out to extended ranges, that bullet's really dropping off. So one of the first things I do is I range key landmarks. So if it happens fast, I don't have to range. I already know about what the ranges are. So we're good to go here.
I really was looking forward to extending my season this year with this muzzleloader hunt. Fire in the hole.
We're about an inch low.
Inch low of center or?
Of center.
Okay. You get to start early up here. We start in late September, and there's not many places you can go in late September and have a legitimate chance for a big buck. Oh yeah, I like this rifle. Here in Kansas is one. I couldn't wait to get back up here and try my hand at muzzleloader hunting.
Got a deer, sure enough. A very young doe and a fawn. Now what we need is a great big buck to come along behind them, but it's not the right time of year for such activity as that.
Now my experience is during the early season, the mornings are not very good. We went out there, it got in a great place. Sam and the guides here had 2 or 3 really good bucks on their Reconnex game cameras. They're extremely nocturnal this time of year, so I wasn't expecting a lot of success opening morning, and I was right. I saw 1 doe and 1 fawn, but that's okay because I know that the best activity is in the afternoons this time of year. I like the sun where it is. It's on a bit our back, so it'll kind of illuminate the deer. We'll be able to see them quite well. There's good bucks in here, we just got to get lucky. So I still went into that afternoon with high anticipation, went back to the same area because just because I didn't see a deer that morning didn't mean they wouldn't be there that afternoon. All these cows have run out of here. Darn, we're cow hooked. So I'm gonna just sit here and let things quiet down a while, but the wind's not good for us, so I'm gonna put a little code blue here, do a little scent mask. You know, my strategy on these hunts is always to get in there, take a look around, get a feel for what the deer were doing, try to pattern the deer. I feel like if I've got 3 or 4 days to hunt him, I've got a decent chance of getting that deer. We're settling in here, things are quieting down. At least the cattle have moved out of here now. And the wind's kind of cutting across this way. We're gonna have to depend on this code blue to mask our scent, and it can. I went in there and set up and hunted, and that afternoon, not much better luck. Well, we're wrapping up the first day, but you know what? That doesn't discourage me. I knew then, after that first day, that we were going to be in for a typically tough hunt during the pre-rut period. But the good thing is, if I put my time in, sooner or later, my number would come up.
The second day of the late September muzzleloader season at Kansas' finest outfitting, and the bucks are steering clear of David Morris.
We're going to change locations today. We're going to go back in that area that I shot a buck here last year. There's a lot of deer in there, hoping something to move through. It's going to be a hot one today. I knew that area. I knew where the oaks were. I knew where the acorns were likely to be falling. This is some of the best food sources we've seen here. We need to keep looking and find the right grove, the right bunch of oaks that are producing a lot of acorns. There will be deer there. And I knew where the water holes were. And water holes can be very important because you have very warm days. Sometimes the deer take them a drink before they lay down, and sometimes they'll hit those water holes fairly early in the afternoon before they start their feeding foray. So my strategy was to go back into the area that I was familiar with, put my time in, maybe see a deer, even if I just saw him, even if I didn't get him shot, If I could just find the deer I wanted to hunt, get in there, spend the time, sooner or later I'd find that deer. At least that was my plan and that was my hope. Just keep looking, keep looking. There's a lot of pasture land here, a lot of cattle country, but not so much farming. And what you'll see here is the draws is where most of your cover is. And this is a perfect place. This is a draw that runs up through here. There's a little rim rock on the other side. That's a perfect place for these deer to be bedded. In this country, because it's hilly, it's just cut with drainages. Little canyons and draws, and that's where most of the whitetails are. They can see, they're hidden, they're in the shade, they're getting a good breeze. Would not surprise me at all to see a set of antlers sticking up over there. So on the second day, I went into my old familiar area, and I'm gonna tell you, just like the other place, it was tough. It's just not a whole lot going on right now. I think we're gonna ease on back to the truck and grab us a bite to eat and get back at it again. It was a beautiful early morning. The birds were chirping. I felt like the deer should be moving a little bit, but in the end, I think we saw a doe and a fawn. It's tough this time of year, always is. We're coming up on prime time now. We're right at the beginning. So once again, I had high anticipation that the afternoons would be better. Now there's a doe and two fawns in front right here. So we've got two adult does, a fawn and a doe and two fawns now. The deer get up after a day of laying up in the heat and then start their feeding, their nightly feeding foray.
Oh, there's a buck. There's a buck right there. He's going down toward those does. He's not a shooter, darn it, but he is a buck. And that's the first buck we've seen.
And when we got out there that second afternoon, it was exactly according to script.
Now we've got maybe 3 or 4 more minutes of extremely marginal shooting light. And if a big one comes up, we're going to have to stretch the camera lens.
We had a few does and fawns that were moving around in this canyon. They were picking around, browsing. And about the time I turned to the cameraman and said, it's basically over. When I looked up and down there below me,
ooh, there's a buck. There's a good buck down there. Good buck down there.
Was this monster 8-pointer.
Oh, he's a big 8. Oh, there's a giant behind him. There's a giant behind him. There's a monster behind him.
30 seconds later, and a bigger buck comes in, and he's 130 yards away.
You can't get him. This is the problem with hunting with cameras.
I had 5 minutes of legal shooting light, and I can't do anything but sit there and look at him. This was a struggle. This one hurt.
Well, this is the way day 2 ends. 2 monsters in front of us, and I can't do anything about it. I'm so frustrated, I don't know what to do. Gee, my knee cricket, what a deal. Well, with that, we're gonna sign off, and I'm gonna get out of this stand, walk out in that field, and throw up. Bye.
Even at Kansas' finest, it's hard to find bucks before the rut, and more so during the heat of the middle of a September day. The next 2 days continued like the first 2, slow. Now Morris finds himself on the 5th and final day of the hunt.
It's getting late enough in the hunt now that we're going to have to get aggressive, but we're going to see if we can make something happen, knowing now that the odds have turned distinctly against us.
Deadly injury is almost added to insult as Morris nearly steps on what may be the most dangerous game in Kansas.
Shit. There's a rattlesnake right here. He struck at me, right here. Jeez. It is a wonder he didn't bite me. That is a timber rattler. And I mean, I practically stepped on him. My heart's still going pretty good. Thank you, snake, for not biting me, and because of that, I'm gonna leave you. It takes a lot to make me forget about big bucks. That thing made me forget about them for a minute. I gotta kind of get my nerves back under me here. So we get back in there, we decide to hunt that same canyon, kind of back up into thick timber, which is a little bit to the south of where we saw them. We're having to depend on forced movement. The deer aren't moving. I just saw that deer go across there. Just ran across right down there about 60 yards. A lot of times they'll hear you but they don't know what you are. They may stand up or stand there looking. If I can catch them in time, we may get a shot. We sneak up, kind of ease along here, and try to create a little forced movement. We're just trying to make something happen. Just keep moving and make some sort of contact with deer. Force them to do something. That's the best thing this time of year. And it was a doe and fawn day. Still no bucks that morning. I mean, it was just slow. It was tough hunting. Saw several deer, all does and fawns. It was good to see some deer moving, but that second afternoon was classic pre-rut hunting. The bucks poured in, but we're going back in there this afternoon. The question is, will they come back in time? So I went back in on my last afternoon with high hopes, but feeling the pressure.
What I love about deer hunting is that you can be in the depths of hunting despair one moment, and just a few seconds later you can be in deer hunting ecstasy. Ooh, there's a buck. Yeah, he's a shooter. He's a definite shooter. He's a big 8-pointer.
With time running and light failing, Morris has to leave the blind and stalk in closer for a possible shot.
There's a bunch of deer down here around that lake, and one of them's a good buck. I just got to get closer up here for a shot. The pressure was mounting. I could feel it just welling up inside of me. I looked up, and there he was. Oh, there he is. I see him. Okay. I'm going to take the shot. I don't know. All I saw was smoke. I don't know. I don't know if I got him or not. I mean, the last minute. And I checked my time. I got 3 minutes of shooting hours left. I hope I got him. Well, let's go down there and see. I tell you, I sat there with the minutes ticking away, facing the prospects that I might go home empty-handed. Well, Danny, you don't have to look anymore, baby. There he is. Good gracious, that scared me. There he is right there. He piled up right here. Once again, Kansas's finest delivered. Look at this. Holy smokes.
13 inch, 14
I'm telling you, look at this. This is a great place to hunt. Sam and Tammy put on a great hunt. And once again, I went down to the wire. I love this place and sweet success. Look at the tines on this thing. That's got to be a 14-inch tine.
It's a 14-inch tine. That tine is from there up.
I'm going to tell you what, 2 years in a row from the same area.
Yeah,
This is the same place I shot down last year.
Yeah.
Isn't this a beautiful deer? All the more sweet because it came at the last second of the hunt. What a deer, what a hunt. Sam and Tammy, thank you. I'm coming back next year. See you then. Let's go get that gator, Dan.
All right, man.